Hello, everyone, and good morning. Daniel Forte here, manager of access controls at Controlled Product Systems Group. Thanks for taking the time out of your busy day to join us here to go over CellGate's total property wireless access. Today, we're going to have Noel Golden, president of CellGate, presenting to us. We appreciate you coming joining us here, Noel.
Thanks a lot. And I really do appreciate all of you taking the time. I know how busy things are when it's sunny out, you've got to make hay. So I do understand the importance of it and appreciate it. And I would bet that today could be the most profitable webinar that you've ever attended. We are seeing really amazing things happening, the quotes that we're putting out. Before we would put quotes out for 2 or 3 at a time, and now we've got properties where we're having quotes for 10, 20 of the Watchman and 200 of our Omnipoint. So it's this combination is turning out to be an extremely powerful one, and we really want you to participate in all of this. So I'll start off with the PowerPoint, and then I've got some live interactions, and I'll show you the portal. So feel free to ask any questions that you've got. Want to make sure that you're really comfortable with what we're doing. And so we really have changed our positioning as a company, because when we only had the Watchman, we were really only at the perimeter. And so, while we had the most full-featured video intercom system on the market, the addition of Omnipoint is just making it a very, very powerful combination. So it's let's see, it's okay. Yep. So it's really that combination, as I said, of the Omnipoint and Watchman that makes it so powerful, because now wirelessly, without data wires, we can cover an entire property, and it is really incredible. So just to refresh, because I've actually had some people ask me what the Watchman product is, but we've got the whole family of the Watchman products, from a single family low cost W410 up to the large screen WXLs for the gated community. And it's operates mostly over cellular. We can do hardwired internet, but we actually prefer cellular because we have better control and more reliability. If somebody changes their internet service provider, or a router configuration has changed or something, they can inadvertently break their access control if you're using internet. And so with the cellular networks, we're actually, we have total control, and we found that customers are really happier with that. Our devices can integrate with external cameras, so it's the only product in the market that does that. So now you can have an external camera capturing a license plate or the side of the vehicle, entering, exiting, and have that as a part of the data in the portal. Our systems call up to 9 contacts, so there's 3 tiers of up to 3 each. We have 3 tiers of service. So video is the top tier, but some properties don't necessarily need the video, but they still want pictures, so they can have pictures with the telephone entry, but not the video. And so if you are having video, then the first tier is up to 3 smartphone apps that would ring at the same time. If no answer in 30 seconds, it goes to the second tier. And if there's no answer, it will go to a third tier of up to 3 regular voice numbers. And we strongly encourage people to add that, even if they're using the video, because they may be at a place where they don't have the bandwidth for video, or the app is got turned off or something. So we really encourage that. And so for those that aren't using video, then they don't need the app for that. So it would be all voice calls. So 3 tiers of up to 3 numbers. QR visitor management. This has been an extremely popular feature because if you're, multi-tenant, multi-family property and you want to have a party, how do you let your guests in? And it's a real challenge for everybody, for the property and for the residents. And with this, the resident can create an event in a minute, and invite people from their directory in their phone. And you can send a text or email, but you can text them a QR code. And when they come up to the gate, they just press the QR code button, and it turns into the camera, and they hold it up there. It takes a picture of them. It logs that they entered. And I was just telling Zach a minute ago that, and so this is, my salesman might shoot me for saying this a little bit early, but literally within 2 or 3 weeks, we will be launching an upgrade version of our QR code. And again, because we're web-based, smartphone app-based, there's nothing needs to be changed. So all existing systems can handle it. But once that's launched, QR codes can work like any other credential. So if you've got a landscaper, so it's the most popular request that we've had. If you have a landscaper who comes every Tuesday, QR codes, the way they are now, you would have to send out a new QR code every week. But with this new way that we've modified it, you can create a permanent QR code so that landscaper can come every Tuesday. Now, the cool thing is that it's secure. It's not really the same QR code. So if they copy it and send it to somebody, it's not going to work. They can store it in their Apple Wallet, and it's actually a link that's updating the QR code in the background so that it is secure. So really cool thing there. A smart screen management. So you can actually, some properties wanted to have just a single speed dial button for security or the leasing agent. You can do that. If they don't want a numeric keypad, we can have that go away. Voicemail intelligence. So with other systems, let's say that it does call 5, 3, 4 numbers simultaneously. And what if you're on a plane? Well, that phone will automatically go to voicemail, and that ends the call because it thinks it's answered. So with ours, the resident has to press 1 to be connected to the visitor, and that way we avoid voicemails stopping the call. So that a lot of unique features in our product. And now Omnipoint, and we are really excited to announce that just last week, Security Sales and Integration Magazine gave us the award for the best new access control product. We beat out some pretty big names with that. So that was really exciting. So here's what Omnipoint is, and I'll go in obviously in more detail, but there's a gateway that is kind of the hub of the system. And so it's communicating with our portal, and then it's communicating with these entry point modules. So I'll go into that in more detail, but those are the pieces, and that's really all there is to it. Now I'm going to play a short video. This is on our website, but I think it does a better job of showing you what it is than I can do even describing. So here goes the video.
CellGate's Omnipoint wireless access control system is the cost-effective and simple-to-install security solution that gated communities, campuses, and businesses have been waiting for. Most of today's systems require multiple control panels and extensive data wiring to each entry point in a building. Regardless of whether Ethernet or Wiegand wires are used, distance limitations are often a problem. If a property has multiple buildings, both data wiring and internet would be repeated for each building. With building retrofits, this can be extremely expensive and sometimes virtually impossible. With new construction, it may be easier, but it still requires significant costly infrastructure. CellGate's Omnipoint works differently. Omnipoint is a point-to-multipoint wireless access control system that can cover a large property without data wires or control panels. It works with any 26-bit Wiegand device and can control door locks, gate operators, and overhead doors, just like wired systems. There are three key components to Omnipoint: the hardware, the TrueCloud portal, and the CellGate app. First, the hardware. Every Omnipoint system utilizes two types of hardware: a gateway and the individual entry point modules, or EPMs, for each door. The gateway acts like a hub and spokes. It communicates with CellGate's servers via hardwired Ethernet or cellular LTE on Verizon or AT&T. Then with the entry point modules using LoRa technology. LoRa is a worldwide standard utilized in the oil industry, where a reliable, long-range communications network was needed. It has excellent building penetration, and line of sight is not required. With Omnipoint, entrances on a property can be located up to a half-mile from the installed gateway, and each gateway will support up to 100 entry points. Many properties will only need a single gateway to control all of their doors. Because it is wireless, no data wires are required upon installation. The only wires needed are for power and local wires to the card reader and lock. Omnipoint's EPMs are the smart devices installed at each entry point. They work with any 26-bit Wiegand device and can store codes with common restrictions at each entrance. The second component of Omnipoint is the TrueCloud portal, hosted on Microsoft Azure. TrueCloud's design allows the integration of CellGate's multiple technologies into one administrative system, where access control, video intercom, and pictures are all controlled with a single user interface. Administrators can control door access via TrueCloud, creating user credentials with time, date or day restrictions, setting up alerts, and reviewing historical logs of access attempts. If a previous access control system was in use, most key cards, fobs, and RFID credentials can still be used and imported into TrueCloud. For doors that only need to be monitored, a low-cost battery-powered sensor is available, so an alert can be sent if a door has been propped open or is unlocked. The third component of Omnipoint is the CellGate app. Doors can be controlled and monitored on the CellGate app, allowing real-time access to Omnipoint from anywhere. With CellGate's Omnipoint wireless technology, you can now secure entry points over a wide area at a remarkably low cost. Call your local dealer or a CellGate security specialist today to learn more about how a new Omnipoint installation can improve your property's security.
There you go. That's on our website, on our home page. And if you send a link to that to your customers, you can really get some excitement going. So in summary, what is Omnipoint? Well, the gateway, it can communicate with up to 100 entry points at a range of, we say, up to a half mile. We've actually successfully tested it over a mile. John Boyd, our lead sales engineer, walked one huge warehouse property. I mean, it was just massive warehouse complex. With one gateway, he was able to cover every door on that entire complex. Now, while that's absolutely doable, what we're suggesting now, and we're really learning a lot, is to have two gateways and put one on AT&T and the other on Verizon, assuming you've got coverage for both there. The way the protocol, the technology works is that the EPMs will register with the best signal that they have. But if one of the gateways goes away, then it will see, oops, I can't talk to the gateway, and it will re-register with the other one. So what that gives you is redundancy, not only at the gateway, but also with the wireless transport back to the server. And I'll get into more about the smart EPMs. So we can have multiple gateways on a property. Line of sight's not required. This is another really amazing thing. John Boyd has walked dozens of properties now, and every time it outperforms our expectations, even in vertical buildings, multi-story buildings, down into concrete parking garages, and building penetration is just really, really amazing. And it's extremely reliable. Like I said, the devices know if they're online or offline. This technology was really created for monitoring sensors at properties that are wide ranging, like oil industry. So one oil pad can have 20, 30 sensors for flow and pressures and fluid levels and stuff. And those report back to the gateway. And we've modified it and are using it for access control. It's cloud-based, so it works just like any other entry point. So it will look and act like a Watchman's access control part. Obviously not the phone call or pictures. It's very small bandwidth. And it fully integrates with the Watchman. So it's the combination of the two that really provide the power. So where can it be used? Well, I've already mentioned it. It can be used at properties that are spread over a large area. It may not have a whole lot of entry points, but the range is causing people problems. Then I know that there is wireless point to point, but if there's not line of sight, then you got to have repeaters, and maintenance of those systems are really a challenge. So you put one gateway up there and you can reach. Now here, I don't know if you see, there's a gateway over here on the property and one way down there. And the gateway was placed right here and covered all of these with no problem. It can be used like places where wiring is just really not feasible or cost effective, historical properties or churches, places where trying to retrofit an access control system really isn't feasible. And again, I've mentioned, because of line of sight, a lot of the other access control systems that try to go wireless would fail. And then places that maybe you wouldn't even think about. We're doing quite a few pool gates because we're doing more and more multifamily properties, and they almost always have a pool, and securing the pool gate is a problem for them. With Omnipoint, that's not an issue, but you can do more. You can do tennis courts and dog parks. We're getting into marinas. We're doing quite a few marinas now. So, you can think anywhere that wiring is a challenge. And then I already mentioned, but parking garages, this is actually one of our first locations, and we had 4 floors of a parking garage. The parking garage was not secured, but there was a secured entrance on each of the 4 floors into the residential parts. So you can imagine a wireless system trying to penetrate 4 levels of parking garage, each one with 3 doors. So that's 12 doors, and we were able to do it with a single gateway. It's incredible. So the gateway, what is that? Again, it communicates back with our TrueCloud portal, either using LTE or hardwired internet. It operates on 12 volts DC or PoE if you're using the hardwired internet. Not both at the same time, but you either can use 12 volts DC or PoE. We supply it with a 5.8 dB gain LoRa antenna. There are higher gain antennas available if you really need to get that building penetration or range higher, and 2 fiberglass LTE antennas, and then mounting hardware. So the mounting hardware would mount it to a pole or to into a wall, And in this case, the installer used a satellite mount. So it's kind of L-shaped when it mounted here on the face of the building. You do want to get it as high as possible. Height really does make a big impact on the performance. So the higher point, the better. And the more central on the property, the better, although height is more of an impacting factor than being centrally located. So now we have the entry point modules. These are double gang size, so you can fit them in just about anything. We have an external antenna version and an internal antenna version. So let me stop here. And so I know that you could, I think you could see it. But so here are, so this is an internal antenna version. This one's an external antenna version, and you probably can't see it, but I do have a card reader on this one. A lot of the installers are using the external antenna version just because of the ease. But one word of caution, we've had them use this too close to the gateway, and it's overpowering it, it's overmodulating it. So if you are close to the gateway, either you can use this model without the antenna or use the internal. Now here's what the device actually looks like, and I'll be showing you a picture of it. But that's what it is. I mean, that's what you're buying, and you're mounting this into a double gang box. It's got two relays. It has a wet relay. So if it's powering a mag lock or a strike lock on a door, you've got that. And it has a dry relay if you're using it for a gate or an overhead door. It has two digital inputs. So one is the request to exit, the red button, so that you can unlock the door and exit. And the other one is for a door position sensor. So this device is reporting in the position of the door. So let me just go here. All right. So here's our portal, and there is the. So I'm going to take just a key fob, and you heard it beep, and I'm going to refresh the browser, and it'll show. I mean, it's instantaneous. It's amazing. So it shows that my fob, it says, here is the number on the fob, and it requests, and it unlocked the door. But we have that relay connected to the input, so it's actually showing as the door opening and the door closing. You can also control this from the portal or your smartphone app if you've got permissions to that. So I can trigger it. And where did that come from? I can do a momentary open. Thesaurus. This is interesting. I don't know what that's popping up. And I heard it click. So there, now that shows it's me as the user, and it triggered it from the portal. And the green dot means that it's actually online. So let me get back to the PowerPoint. So what haven't I covered? Let's see. Oh, double gang, weatherproof. So you can put it out, and as long as the box you're mounting it on is sealed. It is a smart device. So this is really cool. It can store up to 10,000 credentials and store up to 10,000 events. So if it is offline, people can still get in. Now, our system allows multiple types of restrictions, basic restrictions. You have a guest that's there, and they can come in any time of the day, but it's Monday through Friday. their restriction will work, so they can still get in the property. So 10,000 credentials and 10,000 events if it's offline. I already talked about the wet relay and the dry relay and the 2 digital inputs. So Daniel, I know I'm just really whipping through this, so any questions, feel free to let me know, and I would encourage our viewers to ask anything they want.
Nothing so far. You're nailing it. So we'll
All
let
right.
you know when they pop.
Okay, thanks. So we also have a device that is battery powered, and it's we have one version that's just a digital input, another that has a magnetic door position sensor, and so it can be used for even if there's not power. If you have an exit only door with no access control, and you don't want to worry about the power, you can use one of these. Now the range isn't quite as good as our EPMs, but we've got a lot of places that are interested in this. We've got an arena, a sports arena that's wanting hundreds of them so they can monitor exit only doors. And these are weatherproof, and the batteries last years. Obviously, the battery life depends on how frequently it's used. So here's how the system works. So we've got the gateway, and that gets installed first. And then and just as a word, you may say it 2 or 3 times, if you've got a system with an antenna, always install the antenna before you power on a system, because there's a load there and you can actually damage the unit. So put the antenna on, you power it up, and it's registered, and now it's communicating with the TrueCloud portal. And then it's using that LoRa communication to the EPM at the door. So there's no data wires at all, just power. And it works with 12 volts DC or 24 volts AC, which is the reason is because that's what strike locks are. They're one or the other. So the EPM can use either one. And for the wet relay that powers the strike lock or mag lock, it passes through whatever voltage it's provided with. So you would have a power supply, and that goes into the EPM. Then you have a Wiegand wire going to whatever 26-bit Wiegand device that you want. You can have the push to exit button, and then a door position sensor, and a strike lock. So that's all there is. It is extremely simple, so you don't have to worry about pulling wires, but it's very, very simple. So as I said, you install the gateway first, power it up, then install one EPM, power it up, and we have a smartphone app that is just for installers. We call it the CG Installer Control app. So if you went to the Apple Store, the App Store, you would see that you could find that. And then so you can, another really, really cool thing that we did to make it so easy for you, the installers, you don't have to pair up, you don't have to define where this EPM is going in advance. You do have to do some provisioning we'll talk about, where you create the basic layout of the property, where you've got 4 buildings and 4 doors on each building, for example. And you can just have a whole box of these. So when you're installing it, you just pick this one out of the box, use our installer app, select building 1, door 1, and then scan the QR code. And it does all the pairing, all the behind the scenes matching of the IP addresses and everything. You don't have to worry about any configuration. That's all you have to do. So let's see, how am I doing there? Looking pretty good. We have some best practices videos. This is pretty exciting. So on our support the resources page, you go down and it shows best practice video part 1, part 2, part 3. So scoping the job site. You really need to do your homework on an installation before you order the product and before you go to install it, because you want to know, is this an internal antenna, external antenna? Is it going to be a Verizon or an AT&T gateway? So this talks about how to scope the property. This one talks about how to work with our team to configure the system. And then on installation day, what do you do? So 3 great videos there. Go back to this. Okay, so EPN assignment page. So we've got a 1-page form that will help you. You can go through, and as you're doing your site survey, you say, okay, this door is called, and every property has names for their, their own names for their door. So you write the name down, you write what the type of Wiegand device, what the power supply is, and it is going to be an internal or external antenna. But I want to pause here for a moment, and there's that web link for the resources. I'm going to pause for a commercial if this hasn't been a commercial. We have a couple of programs that will really help you. So a lot of people are saying, I don't know if I really want to get into the wireless side or not. So we will actually pay you $100 just to allow us to provide you a quote. So there's on this resource page, you can go to Omnipays, and it tells you how to fill out and submit this form, and we'll pay you $100 just for allowing us to quote the job to help get things started. Then if you sell, maybe you don't sell that one, but you sell the next one. The first job you sell, and by the way, it's only one, you get paid for one quote, and the first job that you sell will pay you another $300. So we want to help motivate you to try it out. And then we also have a revenue share program that we've had for a while. We're going to start promoting it more and getting the word out. You don't have to do anything other than what you're doing today. So if you're not billing a customer for monthly service, or if you're just installing it, and CellGate's providing the tier 1 support, all you have to do is submit the installation information about the installation you did, the device number, etc. And we will, when you hit certain thresholds, so when the recurring revenue of your customers hits $1,000, we'll send you a check every month for 5% of that recurring revenue. When it hits $2,000, we'll start sending you a check for 10% of the revenue for all of your devices. And all you have to do is just register the device that you installed. And when I show you some examples in a minute, you'll see why that can be really powerful. I send hundreds of checks out every month. I sign them personally.
Quick question, Noel.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off here, but we did get a question in the chat box, and the question was on the gateway itself. Can I do cellular and Ethernet at the same time, or am I picking one or the other?
Great question. It's one or the other. There's one radio in it. It's either the Ethernet radio or the modem, or it's the cellular modem. We did have a customer, an installer, use PoE for hardwired Ethernet, but then put a 12-volt DC power supply on at the same time. And that caused some problems because when they unplugged the Ethernet, the system still had power, so it didn't know that needed to reset. So one power or the other, so only one, cellular or Ethernet.
And yeah, and one more question. Can the OPGW outdoor AT&T or ATT, I guess that doesn't matter, but be installed inside?
Sure. Yep. In fact, that's a great question. Um, yes, it can be installed inside, and you'd be amazed at the penetration and coverage that you can get. Sometimes we'll use a smaller antenna than the big one shown, because you don't want to get them overpowered. But absolutely, we even had a high rise, a 20-story high rise, and then went to floor 10 and installed it in a closet, a server closet, and it was able to cover the 10 floors above, the 10 floors below, and 2 floors of concrete parking garage. So yes, they can be installed indoors. So you give me a quick, easy question, I'll give you a long answer. That's my daddy taught me that. So $3,000 MSRP for the gateway. So whatever your discount is, then you'll apply that. The monthly service for the gateway is only $50 a month for cellular, $37.50 for internet. So there's not much savings there for internet. The EPMs are $500 MSRP with a $3 per door. It's not a per user. It's just a flat $3 per door. So it's extremely inexpensive. This is an example of the form that you would fill out. So you would kind of walk the property and you'd say, okay, building 1, door 1, it's going to be an internal. The test kit, and I'll just show you what that looks like. The EPMs that are in the test kit are set up in test mode. So it's when it powers on, so you would put the gateway at the place where you think you want to test where the gateway would go. And then you have batteries that you would use to walk the property with the internal and the external antenna. So you'd use 2 of them, and they blink the number of bars of signal strength. So you'll see the internal antenna and the external antenna both blinking 4 bars, and so that's good. Then when you get into some more challenging coverage or distance, the internal antenna will not be performing as well as the external antenna. So that's how you can determine which one you really want to use. And we need to know when we're helping you provision them, how many EPMs are there on the property, how many gateways. This is the signal test I was talking about. We even have a video on our website of me walking where we are, where our office is, and showing you what it's like in a commercial area. But you want to verify the cellular signal on either AT&T or Verizon, whichever you plan to use. And if there's any question about the range and performance, then you can test the signal of the LoRa. Any questions at all, feel free to contact John Boyd. He knows more about the real world of access control than anybody that I know. So we've already talked about this. Now we have what we call our Gold Key Support Service, and that's a team that helps set up the account and helps you to configure things. Okay, we've got 10 EPMs and 3 Watchmen in the account. There is a contact form that would be sent to whoever's handling the billing for the customer. And so we send that to them, and we get the account set up and get all the billing set up. It's really important to get all that done before you go and install it, because if you go to and install it, our system doesn't know that those devices exist. So that's really, really important. Let's see. That's the monthly service agreement that gets sent out. And these are on those videos that I showed you, those 3 videos. All of this is described on those videos. Now, here's something else that I don't know if Daniel, you and Zach even know about this, but we have been, there have been times in our past when our growth was so high and we were having trouble hiring and training people that the hold times could be long. Well, we've done a lot of work on that and we monitor it very, very closely. I know how many people are on hold right now and how long the longest one has been on hold. And we've become so excited about this that we actually put it on the homepage of our website. So last week, and we update this every week. For our dealer support team, as our technical support team, the average hold time was 58 seconds. The average hold time for our customer service team, and that's the one that helps set up the accounts and all, was 2 minutes and 12 seconds. We also monitor what the longest hold time is for any call all week. And so if now I know if somebody calls and says, I've been on hold for an hour, we have ways to show, well, I don't think that's necessarily right, but our hold times are just dramatically improved. And we're really proud of that. I don't know of any other company that publishes what their hold times are. So here we go again, Omnipoint plus Watchman equals total property wireless access. Here's some examples of some properties. All right, so this one is in Ohio. This has not been closed and installed, but we're just days away from getting that. The MSRP for the hardware that's installed here is almost $90,000 at MSRP. 11 WXLs, 11 XLs, 1 gateway, and 41 EPMs. The monthly service, $1,700 a month. Now, so that almost puts you at that $2,000 a month right there. Sell a couple more systems, and you'd get a check for $170 for that property every single month. I think there's a 5-year limit on it, but you don't have to do anything differently. Here's another really exciting one, $346,000 of hardware. They're putting in 65 480s. They are actually replacing 65 legacy telephone entry intercom systems with the 480s, a smaller one than the XL. 3 gateways, 216 EPMs. The monthly service, $4,000 a month. There you go, $460 a month coming to you for not doing anything more than you would normally do. MSRP, here's another one, $52,000, $53,000 in hardware, $700 a month, 3 WXLs, 1 gateway, 64 EPMs. This one was closed and we're waiting for it to be installed. It was a $29,000 hardware sale, $165 a month, 6 480s, 1 gateway, and 5 EPMs. In Arizona, here's another one that we won, $18,000 in hardware, $565 a month. Those add up. You get 20, 30 of those, and you're getting some nice checks in the mail. They're getting 3 WXLs, 1 gateway, 5 EPMs. It's the combination of the two products that gives it the power and why we're getting these big projects now. And this is only just a smattering. We've got dozens and dozens of these. How are we doing on time? So we're doing fine here. This is the test kit. So you can, it's a complete system. All you need to do a signal test for the EPMs and the gateways. It costs $1,950. There's no monthly service fee, and you can earn that back not just by selling systems, but we will also give you $100 rebate for every system that you sell until you've earned back that $2,000 for the test kit. So that's in addition to any other revenues that you would get. So it's available now. You can order it, and it's got 3 different LoRa antennas. It's really cool. It's got a tripod that goes up 13 feet. So we suggest you put the gateway at the base of the tripod, so it's not 13 feet up in the air, and then just run a cable up for the antenna, and you put the antenna at the top. And if it's, if you can put it on the top of a building, then that's great. You do need powered. We provide a transformer, so you would need AC power wherever the gateway is going to be placed for the testing. And then you have the 2 EPMs. We supply rechargeable batteries. So you just walk around and to the different entry points where they would be installed and just note the signal strength. So now you have a really good idea. So this, kind of in summary here, it's wireless multi-point access control. No data wires at all. That's just phenomenal. No control panels. Control panels are a pain by themselves because now you have a rat's nest of wires coming in. You got to make sure that you've got the right entry points wires connected to the right port on the control panel. So it's just a real headache, and no internet's required. So we have many properties that have multiple buildings. They could be commercial, they could be residential, but you've got multiple buildings. So with traditional access control, you would have to have internet at each one of those buildings. Well, some of these are small, 4 condo units in one building. So you'd have to have internet at each one of those. This way, you don't have to have any internet infrastructure at all. Huge CapEx savings, and very simple and quick and easy to install. So we suggest you can go in and maybe get their interest. And so if you've got a customer whose telephone system, entry system has aged out, it was landline based and that's going away, or they're having problems, they want to upgrade, they want to get more modern things, then you can lead with the Watchman and then bring up Omnipoint. But maybe they're doing fine with their telephone entry, but Omnipoint can open the opportunity because they have different places they need to control access to, and then you can add on the Watchman. Together, they are amazing, and there is literally no other company out there that can provide this type of system, point to multi-point wireless. So Daniel, I haven't run out of things to say, but I run out of time. So
So quickly, we did have a question that popped up a little while ago. Is anti-passback in the roadmap for the access control system?
Yep. So we do not have anti-passback. I get dealers and system integrators asking about that. Rarely do I ever get a customer that asks about it. We certainly could add it. I've got a lot of other enhancements on the roadmap that we'll be rolling out over the next year. But I just haven't seen enough demand from customers for anti-passback to make that a feature we want to add. We could.
Got it. Yeah, I see it a lot in the parking industry, right, as a requirement type of thing. Not what we're typically serving, but I do see the request come up. Typically when it's an end user, it's like that application.
Yep, absolutely. I can understand there. But then again, tailgating kind of, if somebody's tailgating on the exit, then their anti-passback's not going to work. So I can understand the need for it there. We can do it. It's just a matter of priorities. When my sales team says, "Hey, I've got this opportunity for, for a bunch of units, if we would add that feature, then that feature goes to the top of the list." But trust me, we are adding a lot of really cool features this next year.
Yeah, no, as an early adopter of CellGate, it's been really fun to watch the evolution of, the product and then the expansion of the product. So we constantly see you guys improving the line as time goes on.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I don't have any other questions in the chat box. We do really appreciate you getting on here, Noel, and running us through this. Like I just said, I mean, it's just been cool to watch over, what is it, the last 7 years of partnership, how much this thing has blown up and grown and enhanced, and everything that you guys are offering and bringing to the table.
We're really committed to excellence in everything that we do. So, if we're missing that mark, then let us know and we will improve it. The staff's improved. We've got more people, more senior people. The product's improved, and I'm just wishing I could share some of the things that we're in active development on. But I'd say just watch. You're going to see a lot of new things. So
we'll be glad to have you back when they're ready.
Hey, thank you, Daniel. Appreciate it. Thank you, Zach. And thank you, everybody, for watching and taking the time. We appreciate it.